Welcome back. So, today we are going to be talking about Gold Order soldiers. I've had a few people ask me to talk about them. There is an upcoming Gold Soldier Order in the current event track. Also, people are starting to finish the Battle Pass, and there's a few Gold Order Soldier orders in there. So, I will let you know what I think about them, what I think you should pick up, and a little bit about Gold Soldier orders in general. So, starting off, if you go into your shop, in your Battle Pass section, you'll see up here at the top, there's gold orders for weapons, troops, and vehicles. We're talking about troops today. Now, you get gold orders for troops. The number one most reliably accessible method for getting them is going to be through the Battle Pass, and that's pretty much true for all gold orders. But, with events, Darkflow likes to give them out fairly frequently. So, case in point, the current event. Back in the November anniversary, they didn't give out a gold soldier order, but they gave out a full-on gold soldier. So, what you do with your gold soldier orders is you come in here, and you get a whole list of all of these different soldiers. Alternatively, if you go to enlist soldiers, you'll see them listed as the first ones on the list, if there's any available. See, I don't have any assaulters available. But, if you go over to radio operators, there's two of them here at the beginning. So, there's a few things then that you should know about Gold Order soldiers. They take their classes the same way that the normal tech tree standard soldiers do. So if you look at them on this screen, for example, you'll see which of the starting perks they have, and so that will correspond with which of the different types of soldier they are. So Anton Eder here, he's a radio operator 2. Carl Torley, he's a radio operator 1. Being a Gold Order soldier, they come with max stats. Now, this wasn't always the case. Back in the day, they didn't come with max stats, but these days, they're all perfect soldiers. In addition, many of them you can pick up for 750 gold. They were on sale, I think during the anniversary. Actually, no, it was right over Christmas. They were on sale during that sale, when they put like the Battle Pass weapons and whatnot on sale. Generally speaking, just like the vehicles and the weapons, whoever the newest one is, or whoever the newest ones are, you can only pick up for gold orders. It's like an exclusivity period that everything new to the Battle Pass shop gets. And in about 2.5 weeks, we're going to have another rotation of the Battle Pass, and so we should get more Gold Order soldiers, and we should get more Gold Order weapons, and more Gold Order vehicles, and I'll probably put out something talking about them whenever they do come out, or whenever they get announced, so be on the lookout for that. Now, the big question becomes, what kind of soldiers are worth getting? So, for example, I had a bunch of Gold Order orders. I wish the name was more exciting. It sounds weird saying a Gold Order, but I had a lot of Gold Orders for soldiers, and for a while there I didn't really know what to do with them, and ultimately what I ended up doing is I started making Gold Order soldier squads. Now, they're not the most ideal soldiers, so I guess that's the other thing. I didn't outright mention it, but because they come pre-assigned with a class, so let me go back in here and look. See, again, how this guy is a radio operator 1, and this guy's a radio operator 2, it means that, you know, they're gonna be locked into the perk limits, and they're gonna have the starting perks that come with those. It's you have a choice, but that choice is limited based off of who's available, and there simply is not a gold order soldier for every single guy out there. Like, as far as I know, there are no assaulter 4s that are gold order soldiers. There are assaulter 2s. There were assaulter 1s back in the day. I think there's assaulter 3s, but most of them are going to be 1s or 2s. So this guy's an assaulter 2, this guy's an assaulter 2, this guy's an assaulter 3, this guy's an assaulter 2, machine gunner 2, engineer 2, and this guy's a normal AT soldier. I call these guys my Knight's Cross holders because they all have their little Knight's Crosses except for our Italian friend here. I just needed another assaulter to round out the squad. But that being said, this probably isn't the most efficient use of gold order soldiers. This is just an example of something that I did because I kept picking random one-off soldiers, and eventually I thought, you know, I keep picking up these random guys, I should do something with them. The other thing that you should know, and this guy's a good example, because I don't have my AT gunner squad fully upgraded, they don't have access to sidearms or backpacks. So even though he's going to be a fully upgraded soldier, just be aware that until you actually get the corresponding squad, and until you go through the research track, so for example, you need these red upgrades. Until you do that, they're not going to be fully upgraded. And that's the same with engineers. You're going to need the blue upgrades and the red upgrades for engineers because that unlocks what they can build and it unlocks the different slots on them. So if you go in and you pick up an Assaulter 4 or Assaulter 3 for example, because they have good perks and see, here we go. They come with bonus health restored by med kit. I rather like that. But because they come with a good starting perk, because they come with more perk points than Assaulter 2s, you might think, hey, I should pick them up. And generally speaking, yeah, you probably should pick up the highest rank soldiers you can. Just be aware that if you haven't unlocked the Assaulter 3 squad, you're not going to be able to fully upgrade him, and so you're not going to be able to give him some of the equipment that you'll be able to give to other soldiers. Now, which soldiers are the most valuable, and which ones do I recommend you pick up? I would say that your most beneficial soldiers to pick up first are going to be your pilots, your fighter pilots, and your attack pilots, and then your tankers. Now, why is that? If you pick up a pilot, you're going to get a really good pilot right off the bat, and you're going to be able to stick him on any of your air crews, and you're not going to have to worry about leveling him individually up the way that you would have to with other pilots. So, fighters can be very difficult. Maybe not difficult. They're not like skill-based difficult to level up. They're because at the end of the day, if you see the guy before he sees you, you know, you can kind of get the drop on him. But they're difficult to level up because they require certain conditions to be met in game. So if we look at the research tree, right? Let's say you have this BF-109. This one you might actually have a relatively easy time leveling up, because it gets 450 kilo bombs, and because of that, if you spawn it in, and the enemy just decides they're not playing planes that game, you're still relevant to the match, because you can go and you can drop these bombs, and you can go and kill infantry, and you'll be able to rack up points. But if you're flying the Re-2000, for example, the Re-2000 does not have any bombs, and it only has 250 cals, so it's going to have a very difficult time killing things on the ground. It basically relies on the enemy team calling in bombers regularly, and it relies on the enemy team flying planes regularly. And if they're not doing that, you're not going to be able to do anything with this squad, and you're not going to be able to level up the pilot, and everything for you is going to come to a halt. So if instead you have a Gold Order pilot, you take that entire section out of the equation, you don't have to worry about it. You already have a good pilot. Likewise, you can do the same thing with attack pilots. They're just much easier to level up than fighter pilots, so it's not as big of a concern, because they are hitting ground targets, and there are limits or limiting factors to how fast you can level them. Like, if, let's say you're a new player, and you don't know where the common areas are for enemies to attack from. Like, you don't know the vectors that they usually take, or you don't know where they usually build rally points, or whatever, right? Your teammates aren't spotting enemies, so you just don't know where to put your weapons, and you're just chucking them blindly somewhere near the point, and you're not killing anything. It can be slow. But if you play a map a few times, and you look at where you attack from and the path that you take, or if you defend there a few times and you see where the enemy commonly come from, even if your teammates aren't marking, if you just throw your ordnance there, there's a good chance you'll hit somebody. It may not be as effective as if your teammates are marking, but the point is, it's more forgiving to level an attack pilot than it is a fighter pilot, but you can still get into situations where it's slow. Likewise, I think it's nice to have people in your tank crews early on that are, cracked out. Like, if you can get your loader early on to have the ability to switch rounds without breaking the reload, and you can get the buffed reload speed, if you can get those two perks, you're set. The driver perks are nice to have, the gunner perks are nice to have, but I think it really comes down to the loader. If you can get a good loader, I think you're set. And by picking up a Gold Order tanker, I think you can do that. As far as other soldiers, it really just comes down to what you want and what you need. If, for example, again, I'm looking at like a newer player, if you have an assault squad, and for whatever reason you haven't unlocked radio operators, but you want to put a radio operator in your squad, you've already picked up the slot in your upgrades to put like a radio operator here, but you don't have the radio operator squad, so I think that'll block you out from enlisting radio operators. You could in theory pick up a Gold Order radio operator and stick him in there. I don't know if that would be the best use of a Gold Order, but if you have several of them, or you just don't know what to do with them, that's an option. In general, though, I think you're better off using it for more specialized roles, so pilots, tankers, maybe a mortarman or a sniper. You could do assaulters. Assaulters are always nice to have good assaulters. Same with engineers, but I think the problem with an engineer is that a lot of what the engineer can do is dependent on having the engineer's squad unlocked and researching the upgrades in the squad. So if you do get an engineer, I'm pretty sure you'll be limited on what you can actually build. So just take that under advisement. Generally speaking, though, in my opinion, Gold Order soldiers are not particularly high value. They're a nice bonus to get from, say, the Battle Pass or from an event, because you're getting another soldier, you don't have to spend thousands of silver to get them, but it's not something I think you should throw gold at. I think you can make an argument for picking up Battle Pass weapons, because some of them are really unique, and some of them, like the FN Model 1930, fill gaps in the tech tree really well. But as far as Gold Order soldiers go, I just don't think that they're worth 750 gold. I think that they're neat, but I think that's it. They're only just neat. if it were up to me, because I also have a similar take on Gold Order vehicles. If it were up to me, I really wish that they would take a page out of the War Thunder Battle Pass, and instead of giving you Gold Order soldiers and Gold Order vehicles, I wish that they would end that whole system, and instead, I wish they would come out with a pool of Gold Order premium squads. So, for example, in War Thunder, right now we get 3 premiums per battle pass. I think 2 of them are free, and usually the 2 free ones they're kind of whatever. It'll be like a lower tier plane or a lower tier boat, and then there'll be like a tank that's really cool to get. So in the previous battle pass, it was a German IFV, and then I don't remember what the other 2 were. I'm pretty sure in the current one, it's the Strike Master, which is like a middle high tier plane. It's like the entrance to like jets, and it's I think it's a New Zealand plane, and it's basically a light attack plane or like a trainer. And then there's like a low tier plane truck, and there's I think a boat or something. But how I think they could adapt that to Enlisted is they come out with 1 premium squad for each nation. They don't have to be particularly special. They can be very simple premium squads. 1 for Russia, 1 for America, 1 for Germany, 1 for Japan, and every battle pass you get 1 token and you can spend it in the shop. And treat it exactly the same way that we treat the Gold Order soldiers and the Gold Order vehicles. It's just, I think that will have a lot more value to players, and I feel like more people would be interested in picking up the Battle Pass if it included something like that. Because right now, I feel like the draw to the Battle Pass is the Gold Order weapons, and then all of the extra silver. In the past it was silver orders, but I guess now all the extra silver that you are going to get from having the Battle Pass. Because it's cool to get a Gold Order soldier, but getting a Gold Order soldier is not something I'm excited about. It's not something I really look forward to. It's just, okay, I get a free soldier. So, let me know down below, what have you guys done with your Gold Order soldiers? Like I mentioned before, I've made this, like, Knights Cross Holder squad. I think they're kind of cool. To be honest, I didn't really know what to do with my orders before I made this. I'll probably end up making another squad similar to this for, I don't know, the Americans or maybe the Russians. I have a few extra Gold Order German soldiers that I have in a low-tier machine gun squad, so maybe I'll round that squad out with extra Gold Order soldiers, but I don't know if there's going to be enough of the right classes of Gold Order soldier to do that for Germany, so I'll probably start working on one for Russia. But let me know what you guys have done with your Gold Orders. Maybe you guys really like them. Let me know why if you really like them. I think that they're, I don't know, like I said, I think they're kind of boring. They just don't really do much for me. And let me know if there's a specific type of Gold Order soldier you think is really valuable. Like I said, I think fighter pilots are #1, with tankers and attack pilots probably being tied for 2. I think you can level those pretty quickly, because they can do a lot of damage, but, you know, they're situational. They're probably more valuable than normal infantry, though. But as per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.